everybody, it's RL the Retro Pizza Guy, and welcome back to my channel. A fun retro place where pizza doesn't stay on my plate, but this is a review and there is no pizza on the plate, or there is pizza. No, there's no pizza. I lost my pizza. I'm reviewing Bucky O'Hare, a game that I played on my RL Plays Retro. Lose a life, lose a slice. I forgot the name of it already. I'm just having trauma from losing so many slices over the years. So I'm reviewing Bucky O'Hare. I haven't done a lot of reviews lately, but I want to review this game because it is an awesome game. So there you go. There's the review. It's complete. It's awesome. Alright, so no CK with me, it's just me alone, but that's okay. I can have a fun time reviewing a game on my very own. So I'm gonna review graphics, music, sound effects, gameplay, controls, difficulty, fun facts, story if applicable, and replay value. Double love is a 6, love is a 5, double like is a 4, like is a 3, half like is a 2, lobe is a 1, and double lobe is a big fat 0. So let's get started with the review of Bucky O'Hare for the NES, a game that I just played and lost all my slices. So let's start with graphics first. The graphics in this game look unbelievable. I'm telling you, this game could almost fool me to be a Super NES game. It's not quite a Super NES game, but it's definitely a high-end NES game. A game that probably came out very late in the NES cycle. But man, the colors pop, the graphics pop, everything pops. I don't know if there's pop in this game, but there was pop on my RL plays. I lost the pop as well. But it pops, man. It really does. It really has a 3D kind of feel to it. Things are not flat. It's not a 3D game, of course. It's an NES game. But man, I tell you, the shading and just the way everything looks, it just stands out and makes you want to play it. And it's so much fun to play, graphically at least. Graphics are fun to look at, and that makes a difference in how you play it. I know it's not fun factor kind of graphics, but man, I tell you, it looks like a fun looking graphical game, and I really enjoyed playing this game and losing slices. It didn't make the slice losing as bad as it normally is when I play games sometimes, but man, I really was impressed with the graphics. So you know where I'm going with graphics. Graphics get a retro double love. Man, I really love those graphics. So now, moving on to the music. The music in this game is really upbeat, lots of fun, lots of real musical scores that are not like the greatest of all time. It's not, as I say, and I always compare everything to Streets of Rage 2, but man, they did an amazing job with the soundtrack on this game. It's probably one of the best NES soundtracks. I'm gonna play a clip starting now. There you go, that's really great music. See, I love the music in this game. It is so much fun to listen to, because a lot of music in many of the NES games are either really lame or just repetitive, or they have 3 notes and all you get is the same notes over and over again, and you just want to throw the controller or your ears against the wall. I don't want to throw my ears against the wall. I need my ears to be where they are. The wall does not need ears. I need ears. So yes, this game doesn't make me want to throw my ears against the wall. It makes me want to have my ears at top-notch performance so I can listen to the tracks on this game. Again, it's not the greatest of all time, but I tell you, it's a lot of fun, and they did a great job composing the music in this game. And you know, for an NES game, it's very sharp and clear. There's a lot of NES games, particularly Ghouls and Ghosts for the NES, which has terrible sound music. It's very scratchy and choppy kind of feeling. It doesn't feel like it's really like music. It just feels like something in an Atari game for some reason. Although, did Atari have music? Okay, bad reference. But an older Amigo game or an older game that has not the best musical sound or music, this game has a great score. It is well composed and it's well done. It's digitized in a way, I'm trying to say, that almost feels like you're listening to a Super NES game. It's a very high-end NES quality game. When I was playing this game, I almost thought that it was like a game that came out later on. It just made it for the NES, and it wasn't just an NES game for that time. I don't know, I never heard of this game growing up for some reason. Maybe I did, I just didn't really put much thought into it. I was playing Contra or Blades of Steel. Man, I really was obsessed with Contra and Blades of Steel. I missed out on a lot of games. But anyways, back to the point. Music gets, as you probably already know, a retro double love for music. Really love it. Also, the sound effects. I didn't really talk much about the sound effects, but I'll talk a little bit about it now, even though I already reviewed sound effects and music. The sound effects don't take away from what you want to listen to. It is what it is. It doesn't reinvent the wheel. It is a great sounding game, and it has the cues that you need in a game. Back in this era, the sound effects are not huge in terms of importance. They just have to sound like what you want to sound like. A laser has to sound like a laser. Something blowing up has to sound like something blowing up. They need to be cues there, not missing them. When you bounce, you hear little beeps. Those things are there. They are not like, oh my god, but they're there. They're there to enhance the game and make it so you're not playing a silent game with just music, which I like. So yes, retro double love. Moving on to the gameplay. The gameplay in this game, solid gameplay. You know, you're jumping, you're doing a thing. There's lots of different types of gameplay in this game. It mixes it up. It's very creative. Mostly it's a platforming game, but you're on rails. You know, where you're on a little rail cart. When there's a section where you have to jump onto these other rail carts, and you're like on a track. But it's really, really difficult. But it's a lot of fun. There's different levels that have different types of things. You know, things that are moving, conveyor belts you have to go against, lasers like zapping you coming from the floor up or down, stuff like that. You're jumping. It's really gameplay, simple gameplay, but effective. It's platformer at its best. It does not reinvent the wheel, but it is a game that is better than some other games, games that were not as, say, more simplistic. They were not as complex. This is not the most complex game, gameplay-wise, but it's fun gameplay. I'm not going to give it a retro double love. I'm not going to give it a retro like. I'm going to give it a retro love. It's enjoyable and it works. The gameplay is fun, and that's all that matters. It's fun. Fun is the point of this review. Alright, so moving on to controls. What do I think about the controls in this game? The controls work. They're not loosey-goosey. There are a lot of tough jumps that you have to make in this game sometimes. It's not the hardest game in terms of jumping, but the jumping works. You land, it's not slippery. There's a rail section where you literally have to make some of these long jumps and fall, and that could have been painful, massively painful, but it's not. It's fun. It's tight. I always like to say tight. The controls work. They're not Mario. I always say the same thing. I'm trying to mix it up. But it's not Mario, but it gets the job done, and it works. The controls work. It's not frustrating. I don't have to throw my ears against the wall or my controller against the wall. It is tight controls. So controls get a retro double like. Why is it not a love? Well, why can't I'm not going to give controls a love. It doesn't really love controls. I like controls, so it gets a retro double like for controls. Alright, moving on to the difficulty of this game. How is the difficulty in this game? There is no adjustable difficulty that I'm aware of. Leave a comment below, let me know if I'm wrong, but I feel there's only one difficulty. It is a difficult game. It's not super difficult. It's not Mega Man difficult. It's not Contra difficult, but it is definitely difficult enough depending on your skill level. There is a lot of things that kind of like, stuff that you have to do in the game. There's, patterns to figure out and puzzles. I think there's some small puzzles in the game, and, mostly going on a paths and trying to figure out which way to go. You're not always going to the right of the screen. You're sometimes going to the left of the screen, and so you're mixing it up a bit, and that's really cool. But the difficulty in this game isn't the kind of difficulty like Mega Man X or Mega Man difficulty on the NES. Same system I'm talking about, but the level of difficulty in this game is manageable. If you put the effort and practice this game, you will pass the levels. I had a hard time keeping my pizza, but I still got further than I would have in some games that are way too difficult. So difficulty gets a retro double like. It's hard for me because I suck at these games, but so I can't give it a retro love, but it's definitely not frustrating that I want to throw my ears against the wall or my controller against the wall. So I give it a retro double like. So moving on to the fun factor. Okay, fun factor is lots and lots of fun. I had a very fun time with this game. I really enjoyed it. I have to say it's one of the more fun games on the NES. It's a really original title. I'm really surprised I never played this game growing up, and I never played it during the time when I was collecting, retro video games in 2010 era. I just never got around to this game. I didn't really knew it existed. I heard of it in the background, but I just never really put much thought in this game. I don't know why. That's a disappointment for me because I could have enjoyed this game a lot more in that era. But man, it is a really fun game. There's a lot of variety, which makes it so interesting, and you're not just playing the same types of levels and boring little levels or everything stays the same. You have a lot to do, different types of missions, different types of levels. You got different planets, so you have a number of planets that you're going on, and so each planet is different, and you have variety. And variety makes it fun, and it's not the same gameplay all the time. You're going up, you're going sideways, sometimes you go to the right, sometimes you go to the left. You got those rail sections, which were, I thought, very creative because you have to figure out, you have to go to the next rail section and you have to move, and it's going really fast, and you have to jump to the next one, and that goes back to where you came from, then it goes forward. So it kind of makes you think that you're going backwards, but you're not going backwards. You're going forwards, but you have to go backwards to go forward sometimes. That's fun. I don't know. It's just enjoyable. It's not your typical NES game. It's not like any other NES game that I played on the NES. It's so much fun and really original, so I like it. I enjoy it. The fun factor gets, for me, a retro double love for fun factor. It's a fun game. So story, moving on. I'm not doing a story. It's a basic story. Let's move on to replay value. I believe the replay value in this game is definitely solid because of the variety of gameplay elements and different planets that you can start at different orders. Just like a Mega Man game, you get options. You don't have to start the same level from the beginning. It's not as linear as some games, and that makes it way more replay value because you have options. You have different ways to play the game, and you have different starting points, and that makes this game a lot more replay value than the average NES game where you put it down, you played it, and you just don't really want to pop it in again for who knows how long. This is a game that I would want to pop in again and play it because I can try different sections first and different orders and stuff, and I enjoy it. So replay value gets a retro love for me. Alright, this is the portion of the review where I scored the influence from 0 to 2 and whether or not this game, Bucky, has any influence in any other games that came out after it. That is a very tough question. I never heard of this game, or at least I didn't know much about this game, so I can't say if it was very influential. It is a game that was very popular, and it is a fun game, and I'm sure there's elements of this game that have been emulated in other games, but to say it was influential when it really wasn't that up there as a Contra or Mega Man's or other games like Metroid, those games are super influential, and this game I can't say was that influential. I'm gonna say influence gets a 1, somewhere in the middle. Alright, so that's my review of Bucky O'Hare for the NES. A great game. As you know, I love this game. Really fun to play. Hope you really get a chance to play this game. and pop it into your NES old school style, or you have it on some emulator. So many emulators out there that you can play this game. You don't have to have an original NES to pop it in. Maybe you have one of those top loader NESs to pop it in, because it's so much more fun than those ones that you put in the older ones with the ones you get to blow and stick it in and it doesn't work half the damn time. Don't play it on those ones, but play it on the top loader ones, and then you'll have a more fun time, because you're going to be sick of blowing on it and sometimes it just doesn't load. That's the era that it came out in. NES was a great system, but man, was it ever made cheaply, because they had that crash, the Atari crash a few years earlier, so they had to make it on the darn cheap. Alright, no insult to Nintendo, it's an amazing system, but yeah, that top loader is so much more reliable. Alright, so that's my review. Hope you liked this review. Leave a comment below, let me know if you have any experience with Bucky O'Hare for the NES or any other game that is on the NES. Leave a comment below. Let me know. Let me know also what's your favorite pizza. I don't know why I'm talking about pizza, but it is a pizza channel as well. Let me know your favorite game on the NES. And I just say that, yeah, I tend to repeat myself. Maybe I'm just going senile. And I think the cure for going senile is subscribing to a channel. So don't forget to subscribe and like and give me some love, retro love, and I'll have more retro fun in the weeks, months, and years to come. Bye for now.